Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Call the Cops. My name is Officer Jamie Keneally. As always, a big show in store. I don't know if you know it, but this past week, actually Friday, the Boston Police Department unveiled a new program, and this is a great program. It's called Operation North Star. And essentially, well, there's the press conference right there this past Friday. Operation North Star, it's an alert program designed to help folks who may have loved ones with Alzheimer's or autism, what have you, find their loved ones.
The Police Department has unveiled this new and important tool that will be helped to utilize to help families and first responders locate loved ones who are most at risk are missing.
I've spent many hours with terrified families of people that have wandered. I know how important the police are in helping to find loved ones and how families rely on their help and support. This system will give the Boston Police Department additional tools to help in these potentially life-threatening situations.
As an officer, I know that we have an important role in assisting families in keeping our vulnerable community members safe. It is not only my role as a police officer that inspired the creation of this safety initiative, but also my role as a mother.
Officer Michelle Maffeo in studio along with Deputy Nora Baston. They're here tonight to talk about Operation North Star. Let me tell you, this is a great program. But before we get to them, District B2 has a new home, and it ain't too far from their old home, probably about a football field away. They had the ribbon-cutting ceremony this past Saturday. Mayor Menino was in the house along with Commissioner Ed Davis, again, to cut the ribbon on the new District B2, which, again, as far as a commute, ain't too bad.
No.
You know?
No.
Again, maybe even less than a football field. But again, ribbon-cutting ceremony this past Saturday. Officers from B2 have a new home, and there it is right there. All right. I want to thank last week's guest, one of my favorites, I have to admit, although tonight's guests are pretty cool too, Superintendent William Evans. If you saw the show, you know we were talking about crowd control, the issue of crowd control. This was the scene, or some of the scenes from the Bruins parade, which was crazy. But you know what, folks, you're lucky because you have one of the best police departments in the country. And when it comes to crowd control, the BPD, I'm telling you, is about as good as it gets. And again, we want to thank Superintendent Evans for coming in last week to discuss the issue. And again, things went well. Not by accident, but because the BPD had a great plan. So, again, thank you, Superintendent Evans. Don't know if you saw this, but we'll take you back to police headquarters. But Commissioner Davis, again, presiding, Mayor Menino on hand for the relaunch, if you will, of the Crime Stoppers Text-a-Tip program. As I understand it, there's posters up all over the city. You're going to see them up at kiosks with the MBTA. And essentially, we say it all the time, folks, but this is a reminder. Okay? We're trying to reinforce just how important it is when members of the public, folks like you watching tonight, help us out, because when it comes to fighting crime, we can't do it alone. We need to do it together. So keep an eye out for these posters. Last year, in fact, the Crime Stopper unit received over 4,000 tips, which is pretty impressive. And hopefully, as a result of this campaign, that number, if we're lucky enough, and you folks keep doing what you're doing, which is helping us out and making a difference, hopefully 4,000 will be more than 4,000, right? That makes sense. Field of Dreams Wiffle Ball Tournament. This thing was cool, guys. I don't know if you saw this, but early this summer, the Field of Dreams Wiffle Ball Tournament took place over the BAC in South Boston. All the monies raised went to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Last year, I mean, you talk about, just a kick-butt first-year charity event. They raised $33,000. So hopefully this year, as you can well imagine, they were looking to raise more than 33 grand, and boy, did they ever. How about, yeah, there's the check presentation. That was the scene a couple of weeks ago. Superintendent Paul Fitzgerald, his family in the house, and that check, if you guys can read it, yeah, $50,000 they raised for juvenile diabetes research. You got to love that. And the folks from Juvenile Diabetes, as you can well imagine, were pretty psyched as well.
Even tell you, especially for a second year out, third-party event. Third-party events are organized by volunteers only, not by staff, and it's just a tremendous success. So we're beyond thrilled.
Yeah, you know what? Last year we had somewhat low expectations. We knew it was a great cause, a worthy effort, and the support that we received was overwhelming. So 32.5 was way out of the park for me and my family. But this year we set a higher goal. Let's be aggressive. We set 40,000, and just worked twice as hard, and my committee worked twice as hard, and we were able to come up with 50,000, which I never would have anticipated, and it frightens me as to what we can set as our goal for next year.
He's a little frightened, guys. Not like Super Fits to be frightened. All right, kudos to Commanding Officer James Hassan of District E5. I think Deputy Baston was in the house to stay as well. The officers there put together, let me see, a softball game, cookout, and they had a bicycle helmet giveaway. Yeah, they gave away, I want to say...
And a bike.
And a bike, that's right.
Helmets to everyone. A bike
helmets to all the kids, a free bike. I think they gave away about 50 helmets. We cut up to the good captain after the fact, asked him why it was so important to do stuff just like this.
You know, establish a relationship with these kids as they're growing up, so that, you know, remove whatever stereotypes that they have of police officers, to know that we're deep down, we're all underneath, we're all nice guys and girls. So
we are pretty nice guys and girls. You know, you guys too. Michelle and I were in class 3497.
Yes, we were.
What class were you in?
96.
96. How about 4910? Hello. Recently graduated, so we want to say welcome aboard. And guys, be safe, and girls, be safe. And again, welcome aboard the newest members of Boston Police Officers, Class 4910. Last week, we sent out our condolences to Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots. As many of you know, most of you know, his wife Myra died last week of cancer. We wanted to send out our condolences to him because, I mean, Robert Kraft, the busy guy, was nice enough a couple months back to take time out of his busy schedule to address members of the Boston Police Department. He spoke to us about leadership, and we were thinking of him last week. And again, we wanted to send our condolences to Mr. Kraft and his family because, you know what, they do a lot of great stuff, and Myra Kraft will certainly be missed. All right, the topic of tonight's show is Operation North Star. And again, this was the press conference Friday. I don't know if you can see Michelle Maffeo. I think she's to the right in the video. But this thing is great. It's an alert system, and it's designed to help the police department, police officers specifically, to identify and locate people who have a tendency to wander, folks or young kids with autism, or elderly folks with Alzheimer's. This is a good plan. I don't know what else to say about it. It's going to make us a better department. It's going to allow us to provide services in a more effective way and to help families who got a lot on their mind, especially when it's parents with autism or people dealing with parents or grandparents with Alzheimer's. This makes us better, and this helps us, again, identify those folks and locate them better. So tonight, without any further ado, look at this panel. Hello. Look at that. That's the A-team. Michelle Maffeo to your left, Deputy Nora Baston to your right. Michelle, Operation North Star, this is your baby.
This is my baby.
You came up with it. Tell us, how'd you come up with it?
How did I come up with it? Well, there's a growing population of children being diagnosed with autism, and as well as my own son being diagnosed a few years back now. And like most parents, you get on the internet and you look. And I saw the communication difficulties that were out there, and the wandering, the trait of wandering, and I just seen how much it related to my job as a police officer. And then what can I do? What can we do as a department and go forward? And North Star came about. How tough is it?
For folks who don't have a child with autism. Your son Maddie has autism. I imagine there's a lot of stress on a family, especially as you say. Do kids with autism, are they more prone to wander and kind of take off?
Yes, they are more prone to. It is a difficult diagnosis, and because there's a lot that you don't know about autism. Why it happened, is there a cure, what can we do, and it affects their communication, their socialization, and as well they are prone to wander. And it's not that they're running, it's just that they want to go, and they want to go to a specific place that they have in their mind, and they may not foresee the danger that they might be placing themselves in.
This program now, so when they wander, they get to a certain place. How is this program going to help police officers figure out what's going on?
Well, this program itself is designed not only to help locate in the fact that if they have ran in the past, it will be hooked through our 111 system, our report system.
Yep.
So if they have wandered in the past to a specific location, we'll have that information right on hand. And also, if the parents feel that they might go somewhere specific, we'll have all that noted in. But this also, it's huge for communication. If the child or individual is nonverbal, it will say how they do communicate, where they might keep their identification, what type of atypical behaviors they might have that would cause the attention of a first responder or people in the community that might misperceive them to be doing something else.
So when you come up with this idea, and again, I want to get Nora in here as well. You come up and you obviously have to say, hey, I have an idea. This is important. When you come up with the idea for Operation North Star, and let's say you approach Nora, what kind of feedback do you get? Are people saying, no, we don't really need that? Or are they like, wow, that makes a lot of sense?
I've got tons of positive feedback from the deputy.
I'm guessing since we had given the fact we had a press conference on Friday, most of the feedback was just to guess it was pretty good.
It was very positive.
No, and when she came with that vision, I immediately thought of what the mayor wants and the chief and the commissioner, and that's the community policing aspect. And I really thought of it in that context of the officers knowing the people in their neighborhood, and the officers being aware of just making that relationship ahead of time, not waiting for the call. It could just be a normal encounter when you just see someone to say hello, just to make the awareness, or it could be the call that you get. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, a lot of times to get the attention, Officer Maffeo got to teach the new recruit class the awareness. It could be that call at 3 in the morning. The kid's non-responsive because of the communication skills. In other places where we went, in other LA and different areas, it always was that tragic event that happened. And we didn't want to wait for that. We said, this awareness is important. This awareness is safety for the officers, safety for the family, and just that next level of community policing.
Well, it's funny, you nailed it on that point, Nora. It's like, you're not only trying to, help loved ones, again, help get back, locate and identify their, someone who wanders off, one of their, a loved one who wanders off, but you're fostering understanding about autism as well. And you and I talked about it earlier. Even if it's a simple case where you have the kid who's, has autism, he's at the park, and people see this kid and they're like, oh, this kid's different. But if the officer has an understanding of who this kid is, he goes down the park and says, no, that's Jimmy Smith. Jimmy's fine. He may, the appearance may look like he's a little different, but let me tell you the whole story, or the real story. This kid's a great kid, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
How important is that aspect of it?
Oh, that's extremely important. I mean, there needs to be awareness, and it's you also need the families that have children with autism. I guess more or less, I'd speak for myself that we are on a lot of stress, and the awareness just to get out there, not only for the community but for officers to understand the specifics of going, with autism. It's just needed.
What are we telling our officers now, as a result of Operation North Star? What should they be looking for? I mean, again, folks, you've seen the press conference this past Friday, new police initiative, Operation North Star. Again, it makes us better at identifying and locating people who have a tendency to wander, be it a person with Alzheimer's or a young kid with autism. But what are we telling our folks to think about or look for now?
Well, right now we're in the academy and we're teaching the recruits how to recognize and respond to somebody with autism, and we're also in the process of doing an online learning for the veteran officers, and it tells them behavioral traits, communication issues, stuff, just stuff like that.
But